Hey guys, how y'all doing? And welcome to yet another video. We're back with some exciting news this time. News that might be the very onset of a space revolution that we have long been waiting for. The end of May and the beginning of June 2024 have brought not just political turmoil on all fronts, but some pretty bold launches as well. Elon Musk's Flight 4 and Boeing Starlink have officially left the surface of the Earth and have written history. So enough tweedling with your curiosities, let's jump to what just happened. The Starliner, designed to transport astronauts to the International Space Station or ISS, signifies NASA's shift towards increased private sector collaboration. A launch attempt with the United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket and the Starliner was postponed due to a valve issue. As part of NASA's Commercial Crew Program, Boeing and SpaceX were awarded $4.8 and $3.1 billion respectively in 2024 to develop spacecraft. SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft, which completed its first manned mission in 2020, recently returned to Earth after a nearly 200-day ISS stay. The Starliner, capable of carrying up to 7 passengers, is still awaiting NASA's certification for crewed rotation missions to the ISS contingent on the success of its upcoming mission. Boeing Starliner embarked on its first crewed mission this morning, marking a significant milestone in a journey that has spanned a decade. The spacecraft launched from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida at 12:25 p.m. ET, carried by an Atlas V rocket. NASA live-streamed the event at 8:15 a.m. ET. The weather forecast for the launch was largely positive, with a 90% chance of favorable conditions. The only potential hindrances were winds and cumulus clouds, as noted by Mark Berger, the launch weather officer of the 45th Weather Squadron. This mission, known as the Crew Flight Test, represented the culmination of Boeing's efforts to create a spacecraft that could compete with SpaceX's Crew Dragon capsule. This is part of NASA's Commercial Crew Program, which seeks to expand U.S. capabilities for transporting astronauts to the space station and encourages collaboration with private sector partners. If the flight was successful, it marked the 6th time a crewed spacecraft has made its inaugural journey in U.S. history, as pointed out by NASA Administrator Bill Nelson. The crew for this historic mission included experienced NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams. Notably, Williams became the first woman to participate in such a mission. As Nelson highlighted, it started with Mercury, then with Gemini, then with Apollo, the Space Shuttle, then SpaceX's Dragon, and now Starliner. The Boeing Starliner embarked on its first crewed voyage this morning. Once in orbit, the Starliner capsule carrying astronauts Wilmore and Williams will detach from the Atlas V rocket and ignite its own engines. The spacecraft is expected to journey for over 24 hours to the International Space Station, with docking predicted for 1:50 p.m. ET on Sunday. The astronauts will be testing various features of the Starliner, including the performance of the spacecraft's thrusters, the functionality of their spacesuits within the capsule, and the manual piloting system in case an autopilot override is necessary. The astronaut pair Suni Williams and Butch Wilmore will join the 7 existing crew members on the space station for an 8-day stay. They will also test Starliner's Safe Haven feature, designed to provide shelter to the space station crew in case of an emergency, as explained by Steve Stitch, manager of NASA's Commercial Crew Program. When it's time to return, Williams and Wilmore will use the same Starliner capsule to land at a location in the southwestern United States. The earliest possible return date is June 10th, with alternative dates available if weather conditions are unfavorable. If the launch doesn't proceed as planned on Saturday, backup launch dates are available on June 2nd, June 5th, and June 6th. Boeing Starliner has faced a series of challenges and delays over the years, slowing its journey to the launch pad. Despite these setbacks, it stands on the brink of a significant milestone. This mission could be the final step before NASA certifies Starliner for regular operations, ferrying astronauts and cargo to the space station. Mark Nappy, Vice President and Program Manager of the Commercial Crew Program at Boeing, expressed optimism about the upcoming mission. He stated, "This is a test flight. We know we're going to learn things. We're going to improve, and that improvement starts with the Starliner 1 mission." Just 2 hours before its first crewed launch attempt on May 6th, a valve issue on the Atlas V rocket's second stage was discovered. The entire stack, including the rocket and spacecraft, was rolled back from the launch pad for testing and repairs. Subsequently, a minor helium leak was detected within the spacecraft service module. The leak was traced to a flange on a single reaction control system thruster. Despite the leak, NASA confirmed that it didn't pose a threat to the mission. The teams decided that the helium leak was small enough to be manageable rather than replacing the part. During the launch countdown, mission teams will monitor the leak to see whether it increases. While addressing the helium issue, engineers identified a design vulnerability in the propulsion system. This led to the development of a backup plan to perform the deorbit burn should certain thrusters fail as the vehicle leaves Earth's orbit. Following a flight readiness review meeting on May 29th, leaders from NASA, Boeing, and the United Launch Alliance verified launch ratings, including all systems, facilities, and teams supporting the test flight. The mission teams also scrutinized Starliner's parachutes after a parachute on Blue Origin's recent suborbital crewed flight failed to fully initiate. After assessing Starliner's parachutes, the team deemed them good to fly. Despite the hurdles, the Starliner continues its journey, embodying the spirit of exploration and innovation. On May 11th, the ULA team successfully replaced a faulty pressure regulation valve in the Atlas V rocket's Centaur upper stage's liquid oxygen tank. The new valve was tested and performed as expected after repressurization and system purges. A minor helium leak was detected in Starliner's service module, traced to a flange on a single reaction control system thruster. Helium, a non-combustible and non-toxic element, is used to enable thruster firing. NASA and Boeing are developing testing and operational strategies to address this issue. As part of the testing, Boeing will pressurize the propulsion system to flight levels that allow the helium system to naturally vent to validate data and strengthen flight rationale. The Atlas V and Starliner remain at the Vertical Integration Facility at Space Launch Complex 41 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams, currently in pre-flight quarantine, returned to Houston on May 10th to spend additional time with their families before the launch. The repeated delays in Starliner's launch have added to the program's expenses, which are already over $1.5 billion over budget. Despite these challenges, the teams remain committed to ensuring the safety and success of the mission. The International Space Station, or ISS, managed by NASA's Dana Weigel, encountered a technical glitch on Wednesday. A malfunction occurred in the pump of the station's urine processor assembly, a crucial component of the ISS's water recovery system. This system is designed to recycle the crew's urine, transforming it into potable water in a closed-loop process. The faulty pump, initially expected to function until autumn, was due for replacement in August during a cargo resupply mission. However, its premature failure has necessitated the storage of a significant volume of urine on board. To address this issue, a substitute pump was promptly added to the cargo of the Starliner spacecraft. Weighing approximately 150 pounds, the inclusion of the pump required the removal of 2 suitcases containing personal items such as clothing and toiletries, specifically chosen by astronauts Wilmore and Williams. Fortunately, the ISS is equipped with a backup supply of generic clothing and toiletries, which will suffice for the astronauts' brief stay. Since late April, Wilmore and Williams have been in crew quarantine to ensure their health before launch. NASA astronaut Mike Fink, the designated pilot for the forthcoming Boeing Starliner 1 mission, confirmed the astronauts' readiness and confidence in the rocket, spacecraft, and operations teams. The successful test flight is eagerly anticipated. So what are your thoughts on this launch? Is NASA finally catching up to SpaceX or Blue Origin? Let us know in the comments down below. Do be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for more amazing videos. Until next time, bye for now.